for that long?
He says I need to follow the maps and find the tapes. I guess that's what this map is about.
I think we need to see what else is hidden down here. Be careful, Forrest. Keep looking. Buzz the intercom when you found something.
Meine Mauschap muss funktionieren. Hehe.
Time of autopsy is 7 a.m. Cause of death is asphyxiation from drowning. The degree of rigor mortis indicates that the subject has been deceased for 5 hours. That puts the time of death.
Was?
Small lacerations to arms, legs, and face. As though the deceased had been running without stopping.
Ich hab einen Schraubenzieher, Junge. Weiß hier gar nichts da drin, ne? Ja, genau, mit so schön flackern. Verpiss dich. Und das ist keinem mehr aufgefallen hier unten. Na super. Der Typ sammelt Fliegen, der kann nicht gesund sein im Kopf.
If you're listening to this, then I'm probably dead.
New vinyl for my collection. What?
I've got subscriptions to newspapers all over the country. A few weeks ago, I noticed headlines cropping up in those papers, one after the other. Each headline about a murder. Each murder, the death of someone I knew almost 20 years ago. And each one drawing closer to Gallows Creek. Drawing closer to the anniversary. None of us are innocent, but I don't think we deserve killing. All I hope now is that I can save some folk from the worst. That I can. I don't know. Do something to make up for what I did back then, I guess. I didn't kill anyone, mind you. But that's past mattering. Now, there's more I could say. That I should say. But my employer made it clear that my family would pay a high price if I ever spoke out. So, hopefully I've said enough for you, listener, whoever the hell you are, to start putting the truth together.
What the hell? Peggy is not gonna believe this.
Kann ich das Tonband nicht mitnehmen? Oh. Den nehme ich mit. Hallo? Ja, verpiss dich, Alter. Was ist das hier? Lieferung, Installation des Sicherheitsmodells. Installation nicht möglich, neue Teile erforderlich, neues Installationsdatum. Kunde möchte Einbau selbst vornehmen. Ja, das hat ja prima funktioniert. Jetzt habe ich die einzige Sicherheit in meine Maus fallen. Da steht schon einer.
What have you found, Forrest?
It's an autopsy tape. Doesn't say for who, but I think it must be for George.
Poor George. He was so young.
Something's bugging me, Peggy.
What do you mean?
I swear I recognize the voice of the woman talking on the tape. I just can't place it.
Seriously? Do you think you've met her before?
I don't know. I mean, I just got here recently. I don't know. Found another tape. It talks more about how George died.
What did it say?
It sounds like he was running for his life. Sprinting through trees and bushes, getting cut up all over.
What would drive someone to do that?
I'm not sure yet. I think I found Clive's last recording. I think Clive might be gone.
Gone?
I found a confession. Not for any killings, but for playing a part in covering up George's death. He left this behind in case he died. He hoped someone would find it.
Do you think the whistling man already got him?
Possibly. We've had a lot of callers tonight, but maybe not every victim made it to the phone, you know? We don't know how many there really are.
Christ, Forrest, that's dark.
I know, but Clive said he had read about other murders in other towns, and that the murders were all folks who knew about the incident. And the killings were getting closer to Gallows Creek. He said he wanted to do something good for once.
The board in his office. He wasn't tracking people down to kill them. He was tracking them down to save them. Why didn't he just come out with all of this?
He said his employer threatened his family if he spoke out about any of it.
His employer? The one who orchestrated the cover-up? Oh, Clive. I'm sorry for thinking you'd killed all those people. Do you think you found everything, Forrest?
I think there's gotta be more down here. I need to find all the tapes.
You think so? How much did Clive hide down there? Well, if there are more tapes, then there must be more maps to follow, right?
That seems to be the case.
All right, then. Buzz the intercom when you find something and want to discuss it.
Okay, das habe ich gefunden. Wo ist denn hier noch eine Map? Ah, hier drin bestimmt, ne?
This looks useful.
Datum des Berichts, 2. September. Ausführlicher Bericht. Gegen 4 Uhr ging der Anruf einer Joggerin ein, Miss Sandra Sharp, eine, die in der Talsperre eine angeschwemmte Leiche entdeckt hatte. Ich fuhr hin und konnte die Leiche vor Ort als die von George Barrow identifizieren. Ich setzte mich mit dem Büro des Gerichtsmediziners und mit den Eltern des Jungen in Verbindung. Sie teilte mir mit, dass sie ihn zuletzt am 2. Mai um 19 Uhr gesehen hatte. So. Die Map zeigt das an mit dem Radio, ne? Hier ist keine Karte mehr. Da auch nicht, da auch nicht. Okay, hier sind auch keine 2 Radios. Hier muss noch irgendwo ein Tape sein, das ich übersehen habe. Vielleicht die andere Seite hier. Die Musik. Sehr entspannt. Ah, hier.
Additionally, there appears to be a post-mortem injury to the arm. It looks like it was trapped in a car door.
Moment. Das ist hier das Ding. Aha.
It is the coroner's opinion that the
Now this
subject
has to be
likely
important.
feared for his life and was chased, resulting in a fall from a height into a body of water where he hit his head, was knocked out, and drowned. Following that, he was moved.
Dr. Sullivan, we need to have a talk. That recording. Shut it off.
Okay. Das haben wir alles gefunden. Würde gerne das Tape dann mitnehmen, aber... Sorry I made you do this, Virginia. Name des Verstorbenen ist George Barrow, Zeitpunkt des Todes 2.9.1968 gegen 21 Uhr. Der Verstorbene ist ein männlicher Weißer, 18 Jahre alt. Erstickungsmerkmale deuten auf Trinken als Todesursache hin. Weitere Details unter Abschnitt 2 Absatz 4. Schürfwunden an den Fingerknöcheln stammen vermutlich von vergangenen Schlägereien, was mit der aggressiven Vorgeschichte des Verstorbenen übereinstimmt. Es wurden keine weiteren Verletzungen festgestellt. Nach Ansicht der Gerichtsmedizinerin gibt es keine Hinweise auf Fremdverschulden. Zusätzlich weist der verläufige toxikologische Bericht auf einen hohen Alkoholgehalt im Blut des Verstorbenen hin. Die Gerichtsmedizinerin ist der Auffassung, dass der Verstorbene im alkoholisierten Zustand schwimmen gegangen ist und im Zuge dessen ertrunken. Datum 3.9.1968, Uhrzeit 7 Uhr, Medizinerin Virginia Sullivan. Tut mir leid, dass ich Ihnen das aufgebürdet habe, Virginia. Ich nehme das mal einfach mit. Oh, falsch.
What have you found, Forrest?
I found a tape that introduces a new detail to the story. Post-mortem injury. Apparently, his arm got caught in a car door.
A car door?
Yeah, after he died. How do you suppose they can tell?
How can they tell? I'm a radio producer, not a coroner.
The written report I found doesn't mention it at all.
How did his arm get trapped in a car door after he died?
Unless he got it when the police collected his body, I guess someone else must have moved him after he was dead to where he was eventually found.
But the report, what is going on here?
I found a police report. Mentions a friend from earlier, Sandra Sharp.
Sandra. The jazz runner?
That's right. She found George's body washed up at the reservoir.
The reservoir?
Yeah? What's strange about that?
George got cuts from running through foliage, right? But there's no forest around there. Also, how did it wash up at the reservoir?
What do you mean?
Reservoirs don't have tides.
But that's what the police report said.
It's not possible, though. I did a school project on reservoirs and got an A. But, yeah, not important right now. The important thing is that it doesn't make sense.
What are you suggesting then? That the body was originally found somewhere other than what the report suggests. That the sheriff tried to cover it up, but accidentally let something slip?
Something like that. I think.
Well, Sheriff Matthews wrote the report. If he hadn't been eviscerated, we could have asked him.
True. But Sandra is still alive? Once we're done down here, we should give her a call.
In another tape, the coroner comes to the same conclusion as I did. George was running from something.
Maybe an animal?
Maybe, but then there's this next bit, where the coroner thinks he was moved post-death.
So she agrees with us.
At the end of the tape, someone burst in and demanded the doctor, Dr. Sullivan, to stop recording.
Dr. Sullivan. Wait, Virginia Sullivan? She was her caller from earlier.
Well, then our caller was involved in a conspiracy around this boy's death. If only she had made it. Then we might have learned more about what's going on.
It's okay. We did what we could. The takeout idea was a long shot as it was.
I found a written autopsy report.
What does it say?
According to that, it's just like you said at the start. George drowned after getting drunk. Said he liked to fight, too.
The drinking and drowning matches with what I heard, but...
There's also a note scrawled onto the report. I'm sorry I made you do this, Virginia.
If it was on the autopsy report, then Virginia must be our coroner. Wait, the caller from earlier, when we had to call the takeout restaurants, wasn't her name Virginia? Do you think you found everything, Forrest?
I think there's gotta be more down here. I need to find all the tapes.
You think so? How much did Clive hide down there? Well, if there are more tapes, then there must be more maps to follow, right?
That seems to be the case.
All right then. Buzz the intercom when you find something and want to discuss it.
Mehr Tapes? Tape und Dokumente, da. Boah, ist das buggy im Licht. Was soll denn hier noch mehr Tapes? Ich wollte schon sagen, hat er den Mausefall umgelegt? Oh, ein Bier hier unten, Alter, der hat so gut. Ich leg da schon mal alles hin. Was soll denn hier noch ein Tape sein? Ja, ein Tape. Bei den 2 Radiodingern. Jetzt finde ich das ein... Boah, ist das buggy hier. Mit dem Licht. Hier, das habe ich übersehen.
Preliminary toxicology results shows no signs of inebriation. However, a high amount of cortisol was found, indicating elevated levels of stress in the immediate moments before death.
So, und der zeigt mir da das Ding an. So. Tape und Dokumente. Ah, da krieg ich wieder. Nur ein Tape. Komm wieder wie. Hier liegt sonst nichts, ne? Nichts Geheimes, ich kann hier nichts aufmachen. Da ist auch nichts. Wäre voll crazy gewesen, hätte er mich da durch angeguckt. Okay. Da muss es ja das letzte gewesen sein. Was ist denn das eigentlich? Keine Ahnung. Tschüss.
What have you found, Forrest?
There's also a tape about a toxicology report. There were no signs of drinking or that he was on anything.
What? But everyone said he went swimming drunk and drowned. It was in the newspaper and everything.
Right? But we already know the official written report was a lie.
We do. Why would the official report lie about how he died?
The report lied because someone wanted a closed case. Because they didn't want anyone to look into his death.
Do you think you found everything?
I think so.
Forrest, what's going on here?
Someone wanted that boy's death to seem like an accident. And they hired Clive to make it look that way.
Come back upstairs when you're ready. We need to figure out our next step.
Clives Forschung aufgedeckt. Aus dem Grabe heraus.
Thank God you're back, Forrest. I've been running out of stuff to pad our airtime with.
Peggy, you work in radio.
Forrest, I'm stressed. I mean, really. How are we supposed to keep a show going with all this happening?
Kann ich da Dinge nicht auspacken?
This is our job, Peggy. We gotta do it.
You're right. So, what's the plan now?
No, sorry.
Well, we know Sandra was involved in George's death. Do you want to call her?
I do.
All right, but before we go asking questions, I think we should know what we want to ask. Is that fair?
Yeah, we need to ask her about finding the body. She was the one who discovered it, but something just doesn't add up.
100%. She knows more than she's saying.
I wonder what she's hiding.
We'll hopefully find out soon. Anyway, just be careful when you're talking to her. Don't push too hard. We don't want her to hang up.
I'll be careful.
All right, calling her now. Hopefully she's at her jazz studio.
Nein!
Aha! Forrest, you're through.
Hello, this is Sandra at Jazz Pizzazz Jazz Studio. Who is this?
Hello again, Sandra! It's Forrest Nash of 189.16, The Stream. And you're live on air.
Oh, I always thought folks called into a radio show, not the other way around. How jazzy. What can I do for you?
Well, we're trying to understand what's behind the attacks tonight. We had a few questions.
Why, Forrest, of course. Heck, after the way you saved my life, I'd say yes to just about anything you asked.
Really? Well, that sounds nice. I might just call you back tomorrow then, too.
You got my number. But what about tonight? Is there anything you want to talk about right now?
Remember why we called, Forrest.
Hey.
Of course. Do you know why the Whistling Man might have targeted you?
Ha! As far as I could tell, he was just a knife-wielding psycho with superhuman cardio. He'd have chased after anybody.
Right. Well, we think he might be chasing specific people. People who know about the death of a boy named George.
Oh, I don't know anything about that. Sorry.
Du hast die Leiche gefunden. Bewahrst du ein Geheimnis? Schluss mit dir, Spielchen.
Sandra, we know you found George's body. We have the police report.
I don't know what you mean.
It's okay, Sandra. We know.
You do? You know about?
Yes. Of course.
This studio is my life. After I found the body in the river, I couldn't lose my studio. Do you understand?
Sure. I understand.
When the rent just kept going up, he said he'd stop if I just needed to keep quiet. And everything would be okay.
Sandra? Who was he?
He said if I told everyone I found the kid in the reservoir instead of the river, I'm sorry. I can't do this.
And she's gone. I don't think that could have gone any better. You truly did great, Forrest.
Well, folks, if anyone out there has any thoughts on what's going on tonight, please call in.
That's good timing. We've got a call waiting just this second.
Welcome to 189.16, The Stream, with me, your host, Forrest Nash.
Hi, Forrest. I know this is really out of the blue with everything happening tonight. But I wondered if you could send a special birthday message to my uncle.
Nö. Klar, warum
You
nicht?
know what? I'd welcome a change of pace. I'd be glad to.
Thank you, Forrest. He's my Uncle Ronnie. His first name's Peter, but he never liked his name. But since he always had salt and pepper hair, even as a kid, can you believe it?
Nein.
Folks always called him Pepper.
Pepper.
Thanks for the history lesson. Is there anything besides happy birthday you would like to say to Mr. Pepper? Oh my God, damn it!
Yes! Tell him he can get the best birthday deals and party packages here at Putney's Pizza. Starting at just...
You son of a bitch! Stop calling us!
Sorry, Forrest. Let's just move on. We've already got another caller on the line.
Hey, was soll das? Moment, der muss kurz warten. Ich muss das hier wieder aufbauen.
Caller waiting for us.
Ja.
This is 189.16, The Scream. I'm Forrest Nash. You're on the air, caller. Caller. Ponty.
Ponty's Pizza always delivers. Come rain or sleet or whistling man, we'll be there.
189.16.
Forrest? Forrest? Are you okay?
Der geht mir langsam um den Sack.
Forrest?
I hope the whistling man gets him with his own pizza slicer.
Jesus, Forrest?
Sorry, that was too much.
It's okay. It's been a high-stress night. Don't worry about him anymore, okay? Not for tonight, anyway. I think he's spent for now. We've got another call, whenever you're ready.
Ja. Sofort.